Jurors visit the scene of a horrific murder, how prosecutors say James O'Neill attempted to cover his tracks.
And 3 small dogs killed in a house fire. The sad story behind this dangerous blaze.
A local charity receives quite the gift from a major toy maker. We'll tell you how these donated items will land in the homes of hundreds of Marlborough children.
Hello and welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Angelique Piccolo.
And I'm Tina Martin. The trial of an alleged Marlborough killer began this week, and that's where we begin today. Jurors spent nearly an hour last Friday viewing this home where the body of Craig Durand was found stuffed in a trash bag and wrapped in tarp. Several neighbors were called to the stand on Monday. They say James O'Neill appeared nervous and pale when he knocked on their doors in 2004. He allegedly told neighbors he arrived at his home from work and his roommate was dead. Prosecutors say it's a cover-up. They claim he stabbed his roommate to death after a financial argument.
A former Hudson school teacher also in court this week for smoking crack cocaine. Diane Sewell was caught at a drug dealer's house only hours after the first day of school in August. She appeared in Marlborough District Court on Monday for a pre-trial conference. Her trial is set for November 15th.
A Marlborough couple homeless this week after their mobile home went up in flames on Friday. Unfortunately, that wasn't their only loss. Tim and Elaine Collins also had 3 small dogs inside the home. Neighbors say they could see the animals curled up on a couch inside, but couldn't get inside to rescue the animals. All 3 dogs were killed. The Marlborough fire chief says the home was a total loss. The cause of the fire is still under investigation.
And a rundown Marlborough building is getting a facelift. A Connecticut-based company purchased the former Design Pack building this week for $2.3 million. College Street LLC wants to turn the property into 90 apartments, but they're still waiting for city permits and the approval of state legislators before they begin the construction. In the meantime, the company will be cleaning up the site.
Sunday's annual Horatio Alger Street Fair didn't turn out the way that everyone was expecting. Heavy rains and cooler weather kept hundreds from attending, but many vendors who paid a fee for a booth didn't give up so easily.
Not one single sale, not one customer. So a couple people said hi and congratulations for sticking it out. I said, yeah, buy something. No, not a single sale, but it's all right, we'll come back next year, try again. They came by and said, for sticking it out, you get to come back next year for free. I thought that was great. That was really nice.
Some officials now want to change the fair's name before next year's event. They say its name, which honors a Marlborough native now believed to be a pedophile, is inappropriate.
Marlborough city officials are going above the call of duty. No longer are they only expected to perform their normal jobs, now they're dancing as well. Rob O'Keefe tells us why.
God love our instructors.
Being a Marlborough celebrity is no easy task, especially with 2 left feet.
I don't have a chance, I'll tell you that right now. So I have 2 left feet.
The city saw its debut performance last Friday of Dancing with Celebrities, a spin-off of ABC's primetime hit, Dancing with the Stars. State Representative Steve LeDuc was one of several contestants.
Looking for it to be over as soon as possible. I said it's about as fun as a root canal, but no, it really has been fun practicing and leading up to the event.
Contestants had 3 weeks to prepare.
We've had fun doing this. It has been a blast learning and having the lessons. We've laughed, we've cried at some point because our feet hurt so bad, but it's been fantastic.
And by the looks of things, the audience found it fantastic as well.
Everybody in attendance gets to vote for their favorite couple in each category of dance.
Those categories are the waltz, the foxtrot, salsa, and merengue.
I can't believe the first day we were there, we worked for 2 hours and I kept saying, there's no way I'm ever going to get this.
But she got it all right. The mayor won the vote for Best Waltz. Greg Brewster took home the trophy for Best Foxtrot. Bob Kays won the Best Salsa Dance, and Steve LeDuc won for Best Merengue. Tickets for the event went for $20 at the door. That money will go to charities such as the food pantry.
This is the best fundraiser I've participated in. It really is. It's exciting, it's different, it's way out of my box, but it's really good.
I'm so excited. What a unique way to raise funds for the Marlborough Food Pantry.
For Marlborough This Week, I'm Rob O'Keefe.
More than 400 people attended this event, and it looks like everyone had a great time. Thanks, Rob.
Gas prices hit a new low. The price for regular gasoline in the state averaged $2.30 a gallon last week. The oil experts say they'll continue to fall to close to $2 a gallon. In August, drivers paid more than $3 per gallon.
And it's now time for a quick break, but when we return, we'll tell you what's new with the old fire station.
And we have some great news. Your 5-day weather forecast is coming up as well.
Stay tuned.
Obesity in America is at an epidemic level. During the last 30 years, the rate of childhood obesity has tripled.
Childhood obesity involves much more than simply being overweight.
So what can we do to help our children? We can avoid pre-packed and pre-prepared foods.
Limit daily screen time by monitoring the amount of time your child spends on the computer, watching TV, and playing video games.
Together, we can make a difference in the health and well-being of our children.
Eric Sarsfield spent 10 years in prison after being wrongfully convicted. Now the city of Marlborough is paying for it. A federal judge ruled this week that Sarsfield deserves $13.6 million for his time spent. This comes 7 months after the city made an earlier settlement of $2 million. This new ruling doesn't change the previous settlement, but it does give Sarsfield and his lawyers the option to go after other parties for the rest of the money.
Framingham police arrest a Marlborough man this week after he broke into his ex-girlfriend's car and then hid. That girl was inside the police station reporting Ramon Alves had threatened to kill her. When an officer escorted her to her car, they found Alves hiding in her back seat. He now faces charges of assault and battery, stalking, threatening to commit a crime, and breaking and entering a vehicle.
The city needs your help. Officials are asking residents, officials, and real estate developers to weigh in on the future of the old Central Fire Station. The Operations and Oversight Subcommittee on Tuesday night announced it will hold a public forum. No date has been set at this point, but the building went on the market for $1.3 million. But with no bidders, councilors must decide whether to lower the price, lease the building, or move occupants of the Walker Building into the old Central Fire Station and sell that one instead. We'll let you know, of course, when a date has been set. People looking to move into the newly constructed Stonegate Apartments need to turn in a pre-application by October 17th. Its management company will hold a lottery to determine which prospective tenants will get affordable housing. The company ran into problems this summer when they collected deposits and even assigned apartments at a cheaper rate, not realizing that the city requires a lottery system. The complex, which sits on the Marlborough-Southborough line, features 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments with gourmet kitchens, washer and dryer, and fireplaces. Affordable units range from $948 to just under $1,300. The Bay State's poorest residents began signing up for health insurance this week. It's the first step in making Massachusetts the first state to require its citizens to have health insurance. The program will not charge monthly premiums to people living at or below poverty level, but they will see charges for prescription drugs or up to $3. Coverage will take effect November 1st. An estimated 62,000 people live at or below the poverty line of $9,800. They can enroll by calling 1-877-MA-ENROL enroll.
In health news, it's that time of year again for your annual flu shot. The State Department of Public Health announced this week that flu vaccines are on their way. They say municipal health boards won't receive a full supply of vaccines until at least November. Last year, the state got 1.7 million doses of the vaccine. This year, we'll most than likely get the same or more. To find out about the nearest clinic, you can log on to www.flucliniclocator.com or call 1-866-627-7968.
The FBI and Food and Drug Administration launched an investigation this week into a couple of California produce companies. This comes after nearly 200 people are infected with an E. coli outbreak. The FDA has lifted its ban on spinach, but I spoke with some local residents who still have mixed feelings on whether or not to eat the leafy green. Let's take a look. Spinach is back on most grocer shelves. Health officials say it's now okay to buy the leafy green as long as it doesn't come from a California-based plant. But here at this local grocer, the welcome is a mixed bag.
I really don't care because, as far as I can tell, it's only killed 2 people. And how many people die each year of the flu alone? Or HIV or STDs or whatever. I mean, there's bigger concerns for me to worry about than spinach.
I was going to buy creamed spinach, which is frozen, but I was still apprehensive about it because I have small children. I'm afraid of them getting sick.
Well, the FDA has given the green light to put spinach back into these carts, but the investigation into the E. coli contamination continues to grow. Now the FBI is involved, searching California growers for any indication of foul play.
Well, I think that's a wonderful idea. Whatever more information they find out about it, the better off all the consumers are going to be.
But some consumers here believe the odds of getting sick from spinach is pretty slim and say they're not buying into all the hype.
Chance of getting sick or getting contaminated spinach is so remote that, you know, I think the media is just beefing it up and trying to scare people.
What are you going to do? Just stop it? Stop spinach production? Or, you know? And it's good for you, too.
In the end, whether or not spinach makes the shopping list is up to you. For WMCT, I'm Angelique Piccolo.
Well, I know for me, I definitely have taken it easy on spinach, and I love spinach, so it'll take some time, I think, for people to get away from being traumatized.
Right. Well, I think if you really know where your spinach is coming from, it's okay to eat it, but I don't blame them for being a little apprehensive.
Absolutely. Now it's time for my favorite part of the newscast.
What's that?
It is the Animal of the Week with Lesley Cannata. Hi, Lesley.
I'm Lesley Cannata, back here in Sudbury at Buddy Dog with Gina Luttery, and she has Samantha for us this week. Tell us about Samantha.
Samantha is a great dog. She loves people, but as you can see, very focused on small animals, other dogs and cats. So she really needs to be an only pet. She really likes to be with people, enjoys being patted. She's going to be a great companion. She's, I believe, a boxer mix, short-haired, maybe a little on the chubby side, but I'm sure some walks could help with that. But she really would be a nice companion who is going to be really interested in being with people.
She's a very pretty face.
So she's a nice girl. She's been here quite some time, too.
Now, where did you get her from?
She was brought in by a family because of the fact that she wasn't getting along with the other pets. So.
All right. Well, come on down here to Buddy Dog in Sudbury and give Samantha a home. We'll be back after this.
If you're a homeowner renting out illegal apartments in your home, listen up. You'll soon be fined up to $300 a day. A new ordinance took effect this week requiring owners to provide buyer certificates of the number of legal units. This comes after authorities discovered many homeowners were charging tenants to sleep on porches, attics, and even basements. Nearly 100 city homes are in violation. They have until April 1st to make the changes before being fined.
The cost of living in Massachusetts is on the rise. A study released this week shows Bay Staters spent more than 23% of their income on housing in 2005. That's up nearly 4% from the start of the decade. They're not alone, though. 49 states reported an increase, and those in Alaska spent the same on housing as they did in 1999.
In business news, Marlborough-based Scitec Corporation has upped its bid to buy Australian-based Vision Systems for $517 million. In response, Vision System ends a $346 million agreement to be acquired by Ventana Medical Systems. But the bidding war isn't over just yet. Ventana, along with a Washington, D.C.-based company, are still considering a higher bid to win the company. Scitec makes medical testing products for women's health conditions.
Now for a look at this week in sports. The Marlborough Panthers football team improved to 4-0 on the season with a 21-14 victory over St. Peter Marion last weekend. It was a hard-fought battle in which the Panthers racked up 325 yards on the ground. Senior quarterback Nick Urovic accounted for 71 of those yards. He also threw 138 yards. Marlborough continues their march toward a possible Super Bowl berth this weekend with a game at Milford against the 3-1 Scarlet Hawks.
A Southborough-based charity is feeling the holiday season a little early this year. Smiling Kids Incorporated provides birthday presents to children, but when a truck arrived bearing gifts from Mattel Foundation, President Karen Summers was left speechless.
We had 725 pounds of toys delivered, which equates to about 600 toys.
Summers says the group hands out more than 2,000 gifts a year.
We wrote a grant asking for funding, and they gave us funding in addition to, they said, you know what, we have this at our disposal, and we'd like to give you some toys. And we said, oh, great, that'd be great. They're going to go to a number of different community partners that we work with. One of the biggest that we work with is Marlborough Community Services, so they'll be receiving a number of toys.
The organization will host its annual birthday bash October 14th at the Weston Golf Club. There will be a live and silent auction. They hope to raise $80,000. For more information, log on to www.smilingkidsinc.org. Well, that's a great charity, Angelique. I'm sure that those kids will be really, really excited and happy to
I'm
get
sure
those
they
gifts.
were more than excited when they saw the truck pull up with all the toys.
Absolutely. I know I would have been. So that's it for this week. We'll see you next time. I'm Tina Martin.
And I'm Angelique Piccolo.
New evidence in a Marlborough man's murder trial, what police found at the scene of the gruesome murder, and what the medical examiner says was the cause of death.
School safety now in the spotlight, while why Marlborough High School students locked into classrooms this week when alarms sounded.
Officials find the source of the deadly E. coli outbreak. We'll tell you where and what local shoppers are saying about the leafy green.
Hello and welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Tina Martin. The second week of a Marlborough man's murder trial focused its attention on fingerprints. James O'Neill's defense attorney says prints were found on the inside of a storm door that don't match O'Neill's. O'Neill is on trial for first-degree murder of his former roommate. A state medical examiner took the stand Wednesday saying 2 stab wounds to the heart killed Craig Durand. That examiner also reported Durand's blood alcohol level was nearly 3 times the legal limit. Durand's body was found partially stuffed in a garbage bag and wrapped in tarp. O'Neill now claims he heard his roommate arguing with another man the day before his body was found.
Marlborough High School administrators pulled the alarms Tuesday morning and had students locked in dimly lit classrooms. It was part of an annual lockdown drill the school has been practicing since 9/11. Principal Mary Carlson says in light of recent school shootings that have killed 6 students and a principal, it was the right time.
This is one of those things you hope you never ever have to put into action. But certainly based on especially recent events in the past week or week and a half with school violence, it's something that we need to do, unfortunately, and our kids and staff just did an amazing job, and so I felt very comfortable at the end.
Carlson says 7 police officers were at the school during the drill.
There are a few things that we need to work on, a few doors that weren't locked, but students were well out of sight and in a different locked area, but the outside door wasn't locked. But those, quite honestly, are very minimal compared to where we were 5 years ago when we started the lockdown.
Students did not know whether this was a drill or the real thing until it was over.
Authorities need your help in finding 2 teenage girls who ran away last weekend. 16-year-old Amanda Regan and Caitlin Flanagan ran from their Glen Haven Academy home, a place where girls with emotional and behavioral problems live. Both are in need of medical attention. They may be in Boston, Worcester, Cambridge, Malden, or the Saugus areas. Anyone with information on the teens is asked to call Marlborough Police at 508-485-1212.
If you haven't already registered to vote in the November elections, Wednesday is your last day. Voters must be at least 18 years old and a resident of Massachusetts. To sign up, just visit Marlborough City Hall.
City engineers have been ordered to place an underground drainage pipe on Glen Street. The Conservation Commission approved the project last week. Nearby residents hope this will reduce future flooding in the neighborhood. They were frightened earlier this summer when lead arsenic seeped off of the property into the city's reservoir. The Gutierrez Company, which plans to build an 80-acre site, will pay for the job.
New Superintendent Barbara McCann hit the ground running Tuesday night at her first school committee meeting. She outlined goals the school district needs to take to develop a formal curriculum.
One of the most important challenges is the urgent need to put a formal written curriculum in place for English language arts, math, science, and social studies, which is aligned to the Massachusetts standards, vertically and horizontally aligned across all grade levels and all content areas.
An earlier audit faulted Marlborough's school district for not already having that curriculum in place. McCann started her job in August, but it wasn't until last Friday when Rosemarie Boniface left that she was put in charge.
Officials have traced the toxic form of E. coli that killed 3 people and sickened nearly 200 others to a California cattle ranch. The Salinas Valley Ranch is located within miles of the spinach fields. At this point, officials say they don't know how the bacteria got into the spinach. And while the spinach is back on the shelves, local shoppers have mixed feelings on purchasing the leafy green.
I really don't care because, as far as I can tell, it's only killed 2 people. And how many people die each year of the flu alone? Or HIV or STDs or whatever. I mean, there's bigger concerns for me to worry about than spinach.
I was going to buy creamed spinach, which is frozen, but I was still apprehensive about it because I have small children. I'm afraid of them getting sick.
Shoppers faced another scare earlier this week when officials recalled a couple of brands of lettuce. These brands, which were earlier recalled, are now said to be safe. The FDA is still testing separate water samples used to irrigate the produce. Those results should be available very soon. Very tough.
I know. So no lettuce, no spinach. What's next?
No, eating healthy is getting really tough.
It is. All right. Well, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back after this. Athletic facilities in the state could soon be required to purchase defibrillators. The State House is expected to vote on a bill requiring health clubs to house automatic external defibrillators. The Wayside Racket and Swim Club here in Marlborough already has the device in its facilities. And while it's never been used, staff members say it could someday prove to be life-saving. The device is used to shock a failing heart back into rhythm.
City residents want to clean up Marlborough's Maple Street corridor. The Marlborough 2010 initiative is funding a study of the 2-mile strip from Granger Boulevard to the Southborough boundary.
It's going to be great to have this gateway drastically improved for the whole community.
The study will look at land uses, zoning, open spaces, potential development, and infrastructure improvements. The city has hired BSC TerraSphere to analyze the area and suggest changes. The group will hold 2 planning forums open to the public on October 26th and November 9th.
And it really puts us in a great position to move forward on what we want to do as a city in terms of the upgrades in the roadway in that area.
Marlborough's 2010 initiative is a tax-exempt organization with the goal of making the city a better place to live, work, and visit.
A motorcyclist who crashed into a pole in the middle of the afternoon and tried to run from the cops didn't get too far. The accident happened at the intersection of Boundary and Milham Streets last Saturday. Police say 49-year-old Wayne Steed of Northborough was drunk and tried to escape by hiding out in the woods. Police chased him into a no trespassing area and then arrested him. Now he faces 9 charges, including operating a vehicle under the influence of alcohol and carrying a dangerous weapon.
2 Marlborough residents and a Framingham woman faced drug charges this week. Police had hoped to arrest them for purchasing cocaine, but instead found them with pills designed to beat a heroin addiction. Officials began watching the trio after being tipped they were going to buy crack. They admitted to police in a parking lot that they were in fact waiting for a cocaine delivery, but their drug dealer had ran out of the drug before reaching them. They now face charges of illegal possession of Suboxone, a Class B substance, and distribution.
5 others now also face drug charges after a traffic stop turned up cocaine and marijuana. Police found 9 individual bags filled with white powder, marijuana on the floor of the car, a small scale, and paraphernalia. All 5 are charged with illegal possession of marijuana, and one of those men faces charges of possession of cocaine with intent to distribute. Now we're going to change gears a little bit, right?
Yeah, we're going to go on to some very good news. Do you like pets?
Of course I do.
Everybody likes pets, including our Lesley Cannata, who is in Sudbury with our Animal of the Week.
I'm here in Sudbury at Buddy Dog with Gina Lettery for the Animal of the Week, and who do you have for us?
Today we have Pippa. She's a very sweet little Chihuahua. She likes to give kisses, and she came to us from Puerto Rico through our Save Asado program, which has been a very successful program for us. She's great with other dogs. She's really gentle and quiet, but she'd probably do best in an adult-only home. Little kids are just a little too much for her.
And how old is Pippa?
Pippa's probably about 4 or 5 years old. She was a stray, so we have to make an educated guess.
Very pretty.
She's really sweet.
Friendly dog?
Likes to sit in your lap all the time, like a baby.
Great. Well, anyone who's interested in adopting Pippa can come on down here to Buddy Dog in Sudbury. We'll be back after this.
Good news for consumers, pricey prescription drugs may soon get cheaper. A settlement was reached last week that will restructure the pricing of prescription drugs. U.S. health insurance companies are expected to save more than $4 billion in the next year. At this point, it's still unclear exactly how much consumers will save. That settlement is still waiting for a judge's approval, but is expected to go into effect next year.
Think driving on the Pike is expensive. It could soon get worse. That's because the Transportation Finance Commission is expected to recommend a 9 cents a gallon tax hike and open new tolls. 2 members of the board who now want to remain anonymous told the Boston Globe about the changes. The 4 candidates for governor criticized the move on Monday. Several legislators also say they won't support making the money move. The board hasn't officially recommended the reforms, but may do so later this year.
Drivers will be happy to hear that the average price of gasoline in the state has dropped another 5 cents last week. AAA of Southern New England reports the average price for regular gas is now $2.24 a gallon. That's down 81 cents since August.
And in business news, a report issued Thursday says employers believe high school graduates are unprepared for today's jobs. The Massachusetts Business Alliance for Education group presented the report to teachers and administrators in Marlborough on Thursday. The business group held focus groups with 23 statewide employers. Employers say they want employees who know how to access resources and think critically to solve problems.
Marlborough-based Scitec Corporation says it won't increase its bid to acquire the Australian medical technology company Vision Systems. The company previously made a bid of $517 million. Scitec was beat out on Sunday when Danaher, a Washington, D.C. based company, bid $520 million. Ventana Medical Systems, another company interested in the acquisition, also says they won't make a higher bid.
Motorola is moving its employees out of Marlborough. The company announced on Tuesday that they will move more than 470 jobs from 4 of its 6 Massachusetts locations. Employees working at the Lizette Drive facility will move into an office in Lowell. The second Motorola office in Marlborough is on Locke Drive, and it won't be moving.
The FDA has approved Marlborough-based Seprocor's latest drug to fight pulmonary diseases like bronchitis and emphysema. Brovana is a twice-a-day inhalation solution. Seprocor will likely begin selling the drug in the 2007 second quarter.
The American Red Cross needs your help. They're asking anyone over the age of 17 and in good health to donate blood. The blood drive is scheduled at the Masonic Hall on the corner of Main and Newton Streets on October 25th from 1 to 7 p.m.
The Best Western Hotel on Route 20 was left with quite a mess this week after a bus driver tried to drive under an overhang. As you can see, his coach bus didn't quite fit. The bus tore off a large portion of the overhang when it drove 6 to 8 feet into it, then tried to back up. No one was injured in the accident. No charges have been filed against that driver.
Well, if you haven't already bought your pumpkin this Halloween season, you might want to do so soon. That's because local farmers say this year's pumpkin crop is low. Cold and wet weather last spring forced farmers to delay the planting. Experts now say as much as half of the state's normal crop may have been ruined due to heavy rains.
Checking sports, Panthers football lost a tough one to division opponent Milford. Ryan DiGiacomo had 79 yards on the ground for the Panthers, and quarterback Nick Jurevich went 8 for 13 with 2 touchdowns and 114 pass yards. Up 15-13 with under 2 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, the Panthers seemed to have the game under wraps, but the Scarlet Hawks didn't let up and scored during the last seconds of the game. The Panthers dropped 3-1 in the division and 4-1 overall. Now we want to mention the game Saturday at 7:30 p.m. at Kelleher Field. The Shamrocks are playing the Clinton Irish Blizzard. It's the first playoff game of the season.
That is music to my ears, playoffs.
That's right. They did good.
Yeah, good for them. So hopefully we'll be able to keep doing these newscasts and tell you how they're doing in the playoffs.
That's exactly right.
They won't be eliminated in the first or second round.
We hope not. Anyway, that's going to do it for Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Tina Martin. Have a great week.
Bye-bye. A Marlborough man now behind bars for the gruesome murder of his roommate. We have the jury's verdict, and we'll tell you how long he'll most likely stay locked up.
Get them the hell out of my neighborhood.
an emotional plea to keep sex offenders away from children. A proposed ordinance now on its way to a vote.
And we'll tell you what you need to know about keeping your children safe this Halloween.
Hello and welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Angelique Piccolo.
And I'm Tina Martin. An act of chivalry turned deadly on Sunday when a Marlborough man was beaten to death after he tried to defend a group of women being harassed. The incident happened at a Lincoln Street Denny's restaurant shortly before 4 a.m. Police say Jose Olivero and his fiancée went to the restaurant for breakfast when they noticed some women being harassed. Alvarado, along with another man and two women, tried to intercede. Witnesses say Alvarado was then hit in the head with a chair and kicked repeatedly. He was pronounced dead at UMass Memorial Medical Center. Alvarado was the father of two sons, aged 13 and 11. His four accused killers are now held without bail and are due back in court next month for a pretrial conference.
A Marlborough man is found guilty of the second-degree murder of his roommate nearly 3 years ago. James O'Neill appeared emotionless when the verdict was read on Thursday. O'Neill stabbed his roommate to death in the house. Craig Duran's body was found partly stuffed in a garbage bag and wrapped in a tarp. O'Neill now faces a minimum sentence of life in prison with the possibility of parole after 15 years.
Advocates and opponents of a proposed sex offender ordinance that would limit where level 2 and 3 sex offenders can live spoke out on Monday with mixed reactions.
I was sick when I had to take my 9-year-old boy aside and steal a little bit more of his innocence because I had to talk about an animal that lives up the street from him.
There's just no protection for any of the kids, any of the cities or any of the towns at this time.
Get them the hell out of my neighborhood.
Since this ordinance will undoubtedly result in several lawsuits, I sort of resent your need to be on a delusional bandwagon that will ultimately be costly to the city.
It's unfortunate that the city would consider an ordinance such as this that is so devastating to these people and can have a permanent effect on them by permanently banning them from the community.
Having lived through the embarrassment of the skunk running for mayor, I am now embarrassed at my city's ill-considered, knee-jerk approach to a very complicated social issue.
The controversial ordinance would keep child offenders from living within 2,500 feet of any school, daycare, or recreational space. City Councilor Stephen Levy drafted the ordinance and expects the City Council to vote on the issue by the end of the month.
Fully anticipate that it will pass. I know there'll be some lively discussion. I understand at least one councilor wants to talk about potentially reducing the distance from 2,500 feet to something less, but we'll have that conversation when that comes up. But with or without that amendment, I do anticipate that I have the votes to get it passed.
If passed, this would become one of the strictest sex offender residency rules in the state.
A 29-year-old Marlborough man is charged with vehicular homicide after running a red light, slamming into another car, and killing that driver. The accident happened last Friday on Route 2 in Concord. 52-year-old Ellen DeGambo of Concord was killed when a dump truck slammed into her at a speed of at least 50 miles an hour. The driver of that truck, Jason Gaumit, suffers minor injuries.
Local residents are questioning the safety of a proposed indoor soccer complex. The 130,000 square foot facility would boast 5 indoor turf fields, 2 basketball courts, a fitness center, prop shop, and sports lounge. Residents say a nearby railroad track would block entry into the facility.
My concern is the safety of those in the building for those 13 minutes. 13 minutes that may be needed someday to rescue a child from an accident or a fire. Firefighters would have to watch and wait precious minutes for the freight train to pass or try to stop the train and uncouple it before attempting to access victims. Safety concerns must be addressed and monitored stringently.
I think this project is worth merit, but I think it should be closer to 495, not near people in housing.
Minutes are the difference between life and death.
The project sits on the city's Southborough line. Southborough's zoning board has already voted against the developer's plans to build outdoor soccer fields. Nearby residents also fear traffic from the facility will be a problem.
City residents want to clean up Marlborough's Maple Street corridor. The Marlborough 2010 initiative is funding a study of the 2-mile strip from Granger Boulevard to the Southborough boundary.
It's going to be great to have this gateway drastically improved for the whole community.
The study will look at land uses, zoning, open spaces, potential development, and infrastructure improvements. The city has hired BSC TerraSphere to analyze the area and suggest changes. The group will hold 2 planning forums open to the public. The first will be held Tuesday, October 24th from 6 to 9 p.m. in the Heritage Hall. The second meeting is scheduled for November 9th.
And it really puts us in a great position to move forward on what we want to do as a city in terms of the upgrades in the roadway in that area.
Marlborough's 2010 initiative is a tax-exempt organization with the goal of making the city a better place to live, work, and visit.
The 99 restaurant on Route 20 is scheduled to open in late November. The Gutierrez company is building the restaurant on a former apple orchard site, which has raised some concerns. The site has tested positive for lead arsenic. Restaurant construction did not need approval from the Conservation Commission, but the developer will need approval and will have to draft an environmental impact review for other projects on the 80-acre site.
And don't move when we come back. Lesley Cannata has more on how to stay safe this Halloween.
And the Shamrocks are in the playoffs. We'll have more when we come back.
Stay with us.
Obesity in America is at an epidemic level. During the last 30 years, the rate of childhood obesity has tripled.
Childhood obesity involves much more than simply being overweight.
So what can we do to help our children?
Plan family exercise. Take the kids to the park.
We can limit the snack or junk foods kept in our homes.
Go for a family walk or bike ride, or simply throw the ball around the backyard.
Together, we can make a difference in the health and well-being of our children.
Marlborough police officers are warning trick-or-treaters to stay safe and be seen this Halloween. Local residents are stocking up on candy and finding that perfect costume. But as WMCT's Lesley Cannata reports, those aren't the only safety precautions you should be taking.
Halloween haunts and horrors. It's a fun night of decorations, costumes, and trick-or-treating. But for some, it can truly turn into a horrifying nightmare with just one bad piece of candy, dangerous costume, or a speeding car.
We live on a small road, and the people drive really fast. They have no, the kids are walking back and forth, and they just continue driving really fast. So I think they should slow down, first of all, and then have the kids wear bright costumes.
Marlborough Police Lieutenant David Valancourt agrees bright costumes are a good safety precaution.
The lighter the material in terms of color, the better. It'd be easier seen at night. If there's some reflectorizing on it, that's good. Or if you carry a flashlight or something like that. We will be distributing, beginning that week, the week before Halloween, we have these wristbands, and the motto on this is be safe, be seen. These you snap and they have different colors and they glow in the dark.
The free wristbands the police department will be handing out in October aren't the only way to stay safe and be seen.
Some people you see these masks with very tiny eye holes, and what we would suggest is that they avoid that, because kids have to be able to see around them, especially if they're going to cross the street.
Nicole Palian, Vice President of the Halloween Outlet in Worcester, gives a few suggestions so these tips won't hamper your costume shopping.
I mean, anything that's not basically covering their face too much or has exposed eyes would be a good safety issue, and make sure that they have reflectors or glow sticks, anything so that oncoming cars could see them, because obviously it is dark at night. but nothing that's too much of a restriction on the face. So we like to recommend just a loose mask or cut out the eyes of the mask.
Don't be scared now. Halloween should be a fun night, and it will be if you take safety precautions. In Marlborough, I'm Lesley Cannata.
Thanks, Leslie. The city will hold its annual trick-or-treat and horrible parade on Friday, October 27th. Children of all ages are welcome to trick-or-treat from 4:30 to 5:30. The Marlborough Middle School Band will lead the Horribles Parade at 5:30 from the Old Central Fire Station to Monument Square.
And City Councilor Steve Levy wants to scare you. He's transformed his yard into a haunted house. The admission price, a food donation.
It's a fun Halloween event, something for the entire community to come out and enjoy. But like I said, everyone likes to be scared and enjoy the Halloween season, but most importantly, it's about raising food for the food pantry.
The event raised about 1,500 pounds of food for the food pantry last year. They hope to exceed that this year.
It's been a little bit slow so far. Weather hasn't helped, and we got started a little bit late. Hope everyone in Marlborough will come out and bring something with them, and remember it's for a good cause. I suggest coming back many times because it does change, and there's little surprises now and then.
The public is welcome to visit 61 O'Grady Road from 6 to 10 p.m.
If you haven't already registered to vote in the November state election, it's now too late. Wednesday was the last day to register. Marlborough City Hall extended its hours until 8 p.m. on Wednesday. To find a list of candidates along with ballot questions, visit the website that's shown on your screen.
City councilors are looking for a new city clerk. They will begin interviewing 15 candidates in the next couple of weeks. Councilors hope to have the position filled by November 30th when Joanne Reynolds steps down as city clerk after nearly 30 years.
Flu season is fast approaching, and unfortunately for many of us, that means sick days in bed and doctor's visits. A nurse practitioner will visit the Marlborough Hills Health Care Center on Wednesday, October 25th, to talk about the illness, how it spread, and how you can prevent it. Anyone is welcome to attend the informative Wednesday lunch brunch at noon. The group will meet the last Wednesday of every month to discuss a different health topic.
And the American Red Cross needs your help. They're asking anyone over the age of 17 and in good health to donate blood. Blood drives are scheduled for next Wednesday at the Masonic Hall from 1 to 7 p.m. and also on November 6th in Southborough. The Red Cross has to collect 2,000 pints of blood every day to help patients in New England. Anyone 17 or older and in good health can donate. You can call 1-800-GIVE-LIFE to schedule an appointment or visit www.givelife.org.
Well, the American Red Cross isn't the only way you can help out, Angelique. There are other ways, right?
That's right, Tina. You can also adopt the pet of the week. Lesley Cannata has more.
That's right, guys. I'm Lesley Cannata, and I'm here with Gina Lettery at Buddy Dog in Sudbury for this week's Animal of the Week. And who do you have for us this week?
Well, today we have Sally, and she's a really sweet little spayed female. She came in with a bunch of other cats, and I believe some kittens as well. And so we spayed her here and did all of her medical treatment, and so she is ready to be adopted. She's really friendly, really quiet, and I think she did live with children before, so she'd probably be a great family pet.
Now, how old is she?
She's about a year old.
Good other cats, or?
Yep, she lives with a lot of other cats, so she's great with cats, and she doesn't seem to mind the dogs too much. I think she actually lived in quite a busy household before.
Great. Well, for anyone who's watching who wants to come down here, how do they adopt this cat?
Well, they can call and check and see if she's still available, and then they would come down and fill out an application and meet Sally and spend some time with her and take it from there.
Great. Thank you so much. We'll be back after this.
Massachusetts Turnpike users could soon catch a break. The Turnpike Authority Board members voted on Wednesday to remove tolls west of 128. A task force says Western commuters pay a disproportionate amount and toll collection is just inefficient. The board still needs to cast a final vote on November 15th to allow the change. If approved, fees will be removed next summer.
Evergreen Solar Incorporated announced on Monday a $100 million deal to provide solar panels to Mainstream Energy LLC over the next 4 years. The Marlborough-based company saw its stock soar Monday by more than 15%. This new contract is Evergreen's 6th major deal in the past year.
Marlborough-based Omnipresence announces plans to grow. The company says it will leave its 2,500 square foot office and move into a space twice the size. Omnipresence, which specializes in building conferencing technologies into boardrooms, currently employs 10 people. The company now plans on hiring 4 others to meet growing customer demand.
And a Marlborough developer of cancer screening technologies cut 21 positions Friday. Exact Sciences Corporation expects to save $1.5 million in 2007 from the cuts and $2.4 million in future years.
Now for a look at sports. Another busy week in the world of Marlborough football. We start with the Panthers playing a Friday the 13th game versus Neshoba. The first half of the game was nothing short of a nightmare for the Panthers as Neshoba built a 21-0 lead. Finally rising from the dead in the third quarter, the Panthers' Ryan DiGiacomo scored a 6-yard run. Mike Hutch then tried to revive the Panthers' defense by ripping the ball away from Neshoba's quarterback. Panthers quarterback Nick Urovic added 2 more touchdowns, but the Panthers missed an extra point and failed to convert on a 2-point conversion, helping Neshoba drive the final nail into the coffin containing Marlborough's hopes of a Super Bowl. One team that has no plans of making any funeral arrangements anytime soon are the Marlborough Shamrocks, alive and well after a win over the Clinton Irish Blizzard 28-13. Mark Eddy went 13 for 26 with 198 yards and 3 touchdowns. With the game tied 7-7 in the second quarter, Eddy led an offensive drive down the field that ended with an 11-yard touchdown pass to Darryl Thomas with only 9 seconds left in the half. The Shams never looked back in the second half, and WMCT's own Brian Lomax spoke with the defensive and unexpected offensive star, Rob McCoy.
So Rob had to come in tonight at quarterback, taking over for an injured Mark Eddy.
You know, unfortunately he got hurt and just went in, had some fun, you know, made some plays, and, you know, we took care of it.
Not only did you make some plays, we actually had a touchdown pass. I mean, we were a little surprised to even see you throwing the ball.
You were surprised. I was surprised as well. You know, unfortunately, we just got in some long situations, and, you know, we got great receivers. So I just wanted to roll out and throw the ball up there, and you know, they really made a great catch on that one and then got into the end zone. So it was a heck of a play by the receiver, and I, you know, just threw it out there, and we made the play.
Talk about the challenge of playing this Clinton team for a third time. You know, anytime you beat somebody twice during the regular season and then have to face them in the playoffs, that can be tough to beat them that third time.
Sure, it always is. You know, you beat them twice, and you know, third time's always probably the hardest one to do, especially in the playoffs. But, you know, we got a great team. You know, we had all of our guys showed up tonight, and, you know, that's, you know, we played well defensively, we played well offensively, and, you know, this is what we're capable of doing, and you know, it's one step closer towards the championship, which is what we want.
Next week, either Brockton or Middleborough. Do you have any thoughts on that game?
It's going to be a great game, no matter who we play. Brockton, you know, is a great team. You know, we beat them pretty handily here earlier in the season. Middleborough, you know, we've had, you know, they beat us twice. So hopefully third time's a charm for us. But, you know, we're excited about it. You know, it's going to be 2 great teams playing no matter who it is. And, you know, I'm very confident in our team and confident in our players. And, you know, I feel pretty good about it.
The Shams will now play a very strong Middleborough Cobras team in Middleborough this Saturday at 7:30, a game that will decide who plays in the EFL Championship. So the Shamrocks made it to the playoffs. That's great news.
Great, having a great year.
Absolutely, and make sure that you watch WMCT's schedule because we will be covering that game. And that's it. We wish the Shamrocks the very best. We'll see you next week. I'm Tina Martin.
And I'm Angelique Piccolo. See you next time.
City officials gearing up for a vote that could send sex offenders scrambling. We'll tell you why.
And we're going to say to Kerry Healey, you're fired.
Senator Ted Kennedy visits Marlborough. We'll tell you why he's making a push for Deval Patrick.
And relief at the pump for Marlborough drivers as gas prices hit a record low for the year.
Hello and welcome to Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Tina Martin. Election Day is only about a week away, and we begin today's coverage on the candidates. Senator Ted Kennedy attacks Lieutenant Governor Kerry Healey's claims against gubernatorial Democrat Deval Patrick. Kennedy praised Patrick at Kennedy's Pub in Marlborough on Thursday.
November 7th is the date. Deval Patrick, Tim Murray, our candidates, and Massachusetts is the state. Will you stand with us? Will you give us a chance? Will you send us back to the United States Senate to represent and fight for you and be your voice every single day?
Dozens of local officials were at the pub, including U.S. Representative James McGovern, Tim Murray, Mayor Nancy Stevens, State Representative Steve LeDuc, and city councilors.
I was trying to list all the things that I'm sick and tired of because of Republican leadership in Washington and because of Republican leadership here in Massachusetts. But you know what? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. On November 7th, we're going to take back the Congress, we're going to take back the governor's office, and the people are going to get their government back.
Kennedy and Senator John Kerry donated $1 million on Wednesday to the committees aiming to elect a Democratic Congress.
City officials are preparing to vote on a controversial ordinance on Monday that would limit where level 2 and 3 sex offenders can live. The reaction has been anything but one-sided.
I was sick when I had to take my 9-year-old boy aside and steal a little bit more of his innocence because I had to talk about an animal that lives up the street from him.
There's just no protection for any of the kids, any of the cities or any of the towns at this time.
Get them the hell out of my neighborhood.
Since this ordinance will undoubtedly result in several lawsuits, I sort of resent your need to be on a delusional bandwagon that will ultimately be costly to the city.
It's unfortunate that the city would consider an ordinance such as this that is so devastating to these people and can have a permanent effect on them by permanently banning them from the community.
Having lived through the embarrassment of the skunk running for mayor, I am now embarrassed at my city's ill-considered, knee-jerk approach to a very complicated social issue.
The ordinance would keep child offenders from living within 2,500 feet of any school, daycare, or recreational space. City Councilor Stephen Levy drafted the ordinance and expects the council to vote on the issue by the end of the month.
Fully anticipate that it will pass. I know there'll be some lively discussion. I understand at least one councilor wants to talk about potentially reducing the distance from 2,500 feet to something less, but we'll have that conversation when that comes up. But with or without that amendment, I do anticipate that I have the votes to get it passed.
If passed, this would become one of the strictest sex offender residency rules in the state.
Marlborough schools need substitute teachers, and administrators are looking at several ways to fill those vacancies. The city superintendent and assistant superintendent addressed the issue at Tuesday's school committee meeting.
We've taken emergency steps to get a substitute system back on track. A phone system has been put in place. Sue Picor is doing emergency screening so we can quickly build the bank back up. High school teachers with free periods are getting a small fee to cover classes.
We've hired a temporary outside service to work with us on matching resources to vacancies.
And we've launched the Emerging Teacher Program, which is simply an extensive expansion of the already existing intern program, which allows individuals to participate in a program that gets them ready for a teaching role.
Finding substitute teachers became an issue recently when contract negotiations broke down with Kelly Services, who had provided schools with subs for years. The agency refused to cover their substitutes for claims of emotional, physical, or sexual abuse.
The statewide MCAS exam just got a little bit tougher. The State Board of Education voted Tuesday to raise the minimum passing score for 10th graders. Now, instead of scoring a 220, 10th graders must get at least a 240 in math and English to pass. These changes will affect the class of 2010 and its followers. Students who don't score in at least proficient level will have to take extra courses until they can pass. Marlborough's MCAS scores were presented Tuesday night to the school committee. Here's a look at how the city's 10th graders did. In English, 77% passed, and in math, 81% passed.
A Marlborough man is challenging the city's decision to put an underground drainage pipe along his street. The Glen Street resident says not enough protection is given to two nearby streams, one of which flows into the city's water supply. The underground drainage system was okayed only weeks ago to reduce future flooding in the area. Now some residents worry hazardous material could be seeping off a nearby construction site, which has tested positive for arsenic, and into the city's drinking water. This new appeal could take a few weeks. It could take a few weeks, or it could take several months to be processed.
Marlborough police officers are warning trick-or-treaters to stay safe and be seen this Halloween. Local residents are stocking up on candy and finding that perfect costume, but as WMCT's Lesley Cannata reports, those aren't the only safety precautions you should be taking.
Halloween haunts and horrors. It's a fun night of decorations, costumes, and trick-or-treating. But for some, it can truly turn into a horrifying nightmare with just one bad piece of candy, dangerous costume, or a speeding car.
We live on a small road, and the people drive really fast. They have no, the kids are walking back and forth, and they just continue to driving really fast. So I think they should slow down, first of all, and then have the kids wear bright costumes.
Marlborough Police Lieutenant David Valancourt agrees bright costumes are a good safety precaution.
The lighter the material in terms of color, the better. It'd be easier seen at night. If there's some reflectorizing on it, that's good. Or if you carry a flashlight or something like that. We will be distributing, beginning that week, the week before Halloween, we have these wristbands, and the motto on this is be safe, be seen. These you snap and they have different colors and they glow in the dark.
The free wristbands the police department will be handing out in October aren't the only way to stay safe and be seen.
Some people you see these masks with very tiny eye holes, and what we would suggest is that they avoid that, because kids have to be able to see around them, especially if they're going to cross the street.
Nicole Palian, vice president of the Halloween outlet in Worcester, gives a few suggestions so these tips won't hamper your costume shopping.
I mean, anything that's not basically covering their face too much or has exposed eyes would be a good safety issue, and make sure that they have reflectors or glow sticks, anything so that oncoming cars could see them, because obviously it is dark at night. But nothing that's too much of a restriction on the face. So we like to recommend just a loose mask or cut out the eyes of the mask.
Don't be scared now. Halloween should be a fun night, and it will be if you take safety precautions. In Marlborough, I'm Lesley Cannata.
Thanks, Leslie.
City Councilor Stephen Levy wants to scare you. He's transformed his yard into a haunted house. The admission price, a non-perishable item, anything from canned food to diapers.
It's a fun Halloween event, something for the entire community to come out and enjoy. But like I said, everyone likes to be scared and enjoy the Halloween season, but most importantly, it's about raising food for the food pantry.
The event raised about 1,500 pounds of food for a food pantry last year. They hope to exceed that this year.
It's been a little bit slow so far. Weather hasn't helped, and we got started a little bit late. Hope everyone in Marlborough will come out and bring something with them, and remember, it's for a good cause. I suggest coming back many times because it does change, and there's little surprises now and then.
The public is welcome to visit 61 O'Grady Road from 6 to 10 p.m. That's if you're not too scared. You can do that anytime this weekend up until Halloween night.
Definitely want to get over there and donate if we have time to do that.
Absolutely.
Well, when we come back, Brendan Rosenau will have a look at this week's sports.
But before we do that, we're going to toss to Lesley Cannata, who has our Animal of the Week.
I'm Lesley Cannata, back here at Buddy Dog in Sudbury with Gina Lettery. And who do you have for us this week? Some sisters, I see.
We have a very sweet pair of beagles. This is Bonnie, and this is Tina. And they love each other, and we'd really like to place them together. They came in when their elderly owner passed away. And there were 4 of them all together, and 2 of them have since been adopted. And these guys are really great, sweet, friendly, low maintenance as far as, needing a lot of exercise. They're just really nice little companions.
Now, how old are they?
They're 5 years old.
Sisters?
Sisters. I believe they're sisters. They're spayed females, and they're great with other dogs. And I'm not really sure about cats, but they seem pretty gentle dogs.
Now, I have to ask you, this one's a little bigger than the other one. What happened there?
She likes to steal everybody's food. Beagles have very, very good noses. They're scent hounds, so she can smell it a mile away.
Great. Well, for anyone who's interested, how can they come down here and adopt them?
They can call and check on their availability, and they can stop in and meet the dogs and fill out an application.
We'll be back after this.
Obesity in America is at an epidemic level. During the last 30 years, the rate of childhood obesity has tripled.
Childhood obesity involves much more than simply being overweight.
So what can we do to help our children?
Plan family exercise. Take the kids to the park.
We can limit the snack or junk foods kept in our homes.
Go for a family walk or bike ride, or simply throw the ball around the backyard.
Together, we can make a difference in the health and well-being of our children.
Members of the Education Foundation are calling this year's annual Texas Hold'em poker tournament a success.
Very relaxed and fun atmosphere, so it wasn't very tense for the winner, so it was fun.
We didn't do as well financially, but numbers-wise, we didn't do too bad, especially talking to other groups who have done this recently, who tell us that they've barely broken even or lost money, so we were thrilled to make money this year.
The group raised more than $1,000 that will go towards grants for city schools. Roughly 100 people from across New England played in the event, hoping to cash out with a top prize of $2,500.
I'm here to play in the Marlborough charitable poker event. Play some cards. Hopefully I get a little something, a little piece of the pie, if you will.
Unfortunately, Goddard didn't take home a piece of that prize money. The top prize went to 21-year-old Marlborough man.
Police are no closer to solving what caused a two-car crash now than they were 2 months ago. The Labor Day accident injured a St. Matthias church deacon and a city patrolman. Both men were taken to UMass Memorial Center in Worcester. Police Chief Mark Leonard says neither driver has any recollection of what happened before the accident, and there were no witnesses. He says it's clear both cars were speeding, but it's unknown which driver ran a red light.
Gas prices fell another 3 cents last week. They're now the cheapest they've been all year. AAA of Southern New England reports self-serve regular gasoline averages at about $2.15 per gallon. Prices have steadily fallen during the past 11 weeks. At this time last year, gas averaged at least $2.58 a gallon.
Massachusetts Turnpike drivers could soon catch a break. The Turnpike Authority Board will vote on November 15th to take toll booths west of Route 128 down next summer. Disproportionate amount in toll collection is inefficient. If members approve the move, drivers could also see fast lane discounts disappear.
Metro West residents are less likely to smoke than other Bay Staters. A study released this week finds statewide smoking rates have hit their lowest rate in 20 years. Statewide, more than 18% of people are smokers, but in the Metro West area, only 12.4% are smokers. The study also reports education and health insurance are two key factors determining someone's smoking status. Those without a college education are nearly 3 times as more likely to smoke. And those without health insurance or using Medicaid are also more than twice likely to smoke. So good news for Marlborough residents and people in the Metro West area. Apparently we're pretty healthy.
Absolutely. I guess having MIT and Harvard and my alma mater, Emerson, and in the state really helps out.
That's right.
Well, we'll be right back after we take a look at history. If you were elected leader of your community, how would you make a difference? That's what Marlborough sixth graders are being asked. The city has been chosen by the Massachusetts Municipal Association to participate in a pilot essay program. The program aims to raise public awareness, promote the attributes of local government, and to encourage state leaders to take interest in local activities. For more information on the program, you can log on to www.mma.org.
Checking business news, shoppers will soon see an unusual store at the Solomon Pond Mall. Irish Choppers will open November 1st. It'll be the first time the Dudley Custom and Motorcycle and Clothing Company will sell its products in a retail outlet. The store will include a lift where customers can see choppers in progress, along with a full clothing line from hats to jeans. 21
Marlborough workers are now out of a job. A Marlborough developer of cancer screening technologies made the layoffs last Friday. Exact Sciences Corporation expects to save $1.5 million in 2007 from the cuts and $2.4 million in future years.
Marlborough-based TDC Medical Incorporated announces plans to expand. The company, which provides services for the medical device industry, will now open an office in Sunnyvale, California. That office will provide many of the same services available here in Marlborough.
It's a tough market, and by the looks of things, it's only going to get worse for home sellers. Sales of single-family homes and condos in the Bay State took a dramatic downfall in the third quarter, plunging 23%. That's the sharpest quarterly sales drop in at least the last 2 decades. Prices also dropped from July to September. Some housing analysts expect the trends to continue into next year.
Certainly a tough housing market, but it's also been a tough week for the Marlborough Shamrocks.
It definitely has, and Brandon Rosenau has the bad news for us.
The last time the Marlborough Shamrocks visited Middleborough in the EFL playoffs, the Shamrocks came away with an improbable overtime win that was the catalyst for their 13th straight EFL title. Last Saturday, the Shamrocks once again visited the Cobras with a shot in the EFL title game up for grabs. In front of a packed house at Batters Field, the Cobras scored the game's first 20 points to get an early advantage in the second quarter. With time winding down in the half, Mark 80 pump fakes and finds Daryl Thomas right in the middle of your living room to close the gap to 20-6 at the half. The Shamrocks would build on their momentum in the second half. After the Cobras returned the opening kick to the Shamrocks' 4-yard line, the defense stepped up in a big way. On 3rd and goal from the 9, Cobra quarterback John Bond gets outside and just misses getting the ball across the goal line. On 4th down, John Pyrus and a gang of Shamrocks seemingly stopped the Cobras' attack, but there is some dirty laundry on the field, and the Cobras are going to get one more shot. On 4th down again, Kerry Taylor, and the man is an absolute monster, gets in the backfield to hold the ball carrier to a 1-yard loss and give the Shamrocks the ball. With his team fired up, Eddie would lead the Shamrocks on their longest drive of the night, covering 98 yards and finishing with this pass to Willie Bates in the end zone. The score pulled the Shamrocks within striking distance, 20-12. However, the comeback would end there as the Cobras would score the next 21 points, including this interception return by Kylie McDonald, the second of the game, and the Cobras pulled away 41-12. Eddie finished the game 19 out of 47 with 2 scores and 3 picks. The Shamrocks finished the regular season 5-4 and 6-5 overall. On to the high school gridiron. The Marlborough Panthers ended their 2-game losing streak with a solid 34-13 win over Gardner last Saturday at Kelleher Field. The Panthers gained over 400 total yards of offense, led by seniors Ryan DiGiacomo, Steve Blair, and Nick Yurovich, who all eclipsed the century mark in rushing yards. The Panthers got out quickly on this 26-yard scoring run from the speedster Steve Blair that made the score 13-0. In the second quarter, Yurovich, who who also threw for a $127, hooked up with Garrett Butt on this lovely passing catch that gave the good guys a 20-6 lead at the break. In the second half, DiGiacomo got his team leading 11th touchdown of the year on this 13-yard run in the third. Jurovic would finish the job in the fourth with a little help on a ferocious DiGiacomo block with his 38-yard scamper. Senior Ryan McCrory also had a strong game on defense, picking off 2 passes to go along with a rushing touchdown. The 5-2 Panthers' next opponent will be Shrewsbury. The Assabet Aztecs conquered their 5th straight opponent, shutting out host Murdoch 20-0 last Friday in Winchendon. The Aztecs scored on rushing touchdowns by Nick Ferreira, Justin Flanagan, and Kevin Shepard. The Aztecs improved to 6-1 on the year and are now 5-0 in Division 3A. The Aztecs will host Monty Tech in their next game. In golf, Nick Harris of Assabet shot a 76 at the Blackstone National Country Club to win the Division III Central Sectional Tournament. Harris will now play in the state individual tournament, where he will be joined by E.C. Encarnacion of Marlborough. The Panther finished 7th, shooting a 76 in the Division I Central Sectional, which was held at Oak Hill Country Club. In other sports, the Panthers field hockey team qualified for the district tournament with a 4-0 win over Milford. Paula Ryder has done an exceptional job in guiding the team to its first postseason appearance in several years. The boys and girls soccer team and the volleyball team for Marlborough have also locked up spots in the postseason. The Assabet soccer team and volleyball team will also be in the postseason. That's it for sports this week. I'm Brendan Rosenau. See you next week.
Thanks a lot, Brendan, and we're going to look forward to seeing him on a regular basis now.
That's right. Good to have him part of our team. Anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of Marlborough This Week. I'm Dan Corcoran.
And I'm Tina Martin. Have a great week.